Chairman Kaye, thank you for that very good explanation there. And I know you have a passion for this, and there's absolutely no doubt that parents want their kids to play sports. That sports are a healthy activity, and I think it clearly outweighs the risk. And as a result of that, you know, I've worked on this issue for a while. In the 113th Congress, this committee approved my Youth Sports Concussion Act, which deals with product safety standards and misleading advertising claims. And since 2010, I've been urging this entity here, the CPSC, to ensure that football helmets meet a safety standard that addresses concussion risk and reflect the state-of-the-art in helmet technology. And I can just say I'm alarmed by the lack of progress by NOCSE. I think you all know what NOCSE is. NOCSE in updating its voluntary industry helmet standards. And to make a couple of points here on NOCSE, NOCSE does not meet the requirement of the American National Standards Institute for Standard Developers. This is a code of good practice that helps ensure balance of the interests. There's no youth-specific football helmet standard. There's no NOCSE requirement that old helmets be reconditioned on a regular basis. So, Chairman Kaye, I have a yes or no question for you. Are you satisfied with how NOCSE develops and maintains the current voluntary industry standards for football helmets?
No.
And tell me why.
Well, you touched on a lot of it, Senator. They obviously don't even follow the ANSI process, and so there are certain aspects to their process that we don't have window to because they're not as transparent. And when the issue broke, and thank you for your leadership, because you've really been the biggest champion in the United States Congress, in both the Senate and the House, on this issue. When this issue broke, as you well know, in October of 2010, at that point we really had no access at all to the NOCSE process, and we had to negotiate with them to allow us to participate just as observers, and they had to open up, because we can't participate, the commission staff cannot participate unless it's an open meeting. They had to open up, and they only opened up just a portion of their meetings so that we could be there, and then they closed the rest of it. And so there's a lack of transparency. I don't think that that's, from having worked with the NOCSE staff and gotten to know them, I don't think it's their staff that is the issue there. I think there's a larger organizational issue that's going on and a lot of pressures that are brought to bear on them. But I do think that there's a lot more that they can do to be more open, more transparent, and move more quickly. And the last thing I'll add is, from my perspective, again, I'm not speaking for my colleagues here at the Commission, there's a better process even than the ANSI process, and that's the ASTM process. And that is the process when I see that an industry is approaching ASTM and working through the ASTM process, that's the area that I feel has the best process in place to ensure the best outcome, is the most open and transparent, involves the most consensus building, and really gives me the most confidence that everybody's been heard and the right solution has been reached.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, there are these youth products that are being put out. A good example, and I think my staff's going to show you some posters here, but we have a Dawn Joy head protector, and then we also have this full 90 high-performance head guard. The representations that these folks make on these products are pretty astounding. I mean, this unequal headbands, which you're going to see up here, they say unequal headbands predict a significantly lower risk of concussions. The full blue performance headgear that says reduces impact forces by 50%. I mean, these are the kinds of claims that that really I think don't hold any water. And the Dawn Joy headband, the advertising for this says that it prevents the young person from being injured. You can see it shows him with a head protector, and the kid without one, he's getting hurt. And so you're really encouraging more impact. And my question, I know I'm running over time here, but I see a role for the CPSC. Given the real risk of brain injury, could the CPSC require product warning labels for soccer headbands in order to assist parents, coaches, and players in evaluating the safety of these products?
So we certainly have the authority to, under the Consumer Product Safety Act, to impose labeling requirements. And since your staff raised this with us in the last couple of days, we are going to look into that. Unfortunately, that's not a quick process because of our regulatory requirements. So I did, when I saw the slides that thankfully, thanks to Kevin Cummings of your staff, had shared with us, I did immediately share those with the Federal Trade Commission because I do think that issues like this do need to be addressed, and they have the ability, it's within their jurisdiction for potential false advertisement, they have the ability to act quickly to try to get these products removed or to get this type of potentially misleading information off the market. I have to say, as a parent, again, of 2 young children, I'm deeply concerned by marketing concerns that might mislead parents into thinking they have a level of protection that they don't. And I think that what it probably does is gives folks a false sense of security, and kids are more likely to do something more dangerous than they would be without even having something on their head at all. So I'm really glad that you raised this, and I look forward to working with you on this going forward.
Thank you, and I'm sorry and I've already run over my time. I wanted some of your other commissioners to be able to comment, but Mr. Chairman, thank you. If we have a second round, I may stay here so that they can also comment on this. Appreciate your courtesies. Thank you.
I'm reluctant to announce a second round in hopes that some of you leave.
Mr. Chairman, don't do that to us.
Senator Martinez. Senator Udall.
Chairman Moran, I also thank you, and thank you for your patience. You have some pretty persistent questioners here, and we appreciate your patience on that. I'd like to follow up my earlier questions on youth sports equipment, safety standards, and product labeling. Could I ask each commissioner if they support Chairman Kaye's focus on improving brain safety in youth sports? And Mr. Adler, why don't we start with you?
Yes.
Yes. Would you want to elaborate, or you?
Well, I will elaborate in the following sense that I was acting chair when Chairman Kaye was the executive director of the agency, and one of the things that I was most impressed by was how he had taken it upon himself, both while he was the executive director and while he was the chief of staff to former Chairman Tenenbaum, to get involved in this issue. It is a passion of his. It's inspirational to me, and I think the work he's done has just been absolutely terrific. So I fully support what he's been doing, and I thank you also for all the work that you've done. I've been observing it over the years.
Thank you. Ms. Burkle.
Thank you, Senator. Yes, I do support those efforts. And to the chairman's credit, this has been a passion of his, and he is strongly committed to it. He mentioned changing culture earlier in his previous comments, and I think that in this instance, education and changing culture through education will be extremely helpful in raising awareness about these issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Morovic.
Thank you, Senator Udall. First, if you don't mind, I'd like to applaud your leadership and courage with regards to chemical safety in the United States. We also have under our mission the need to provide a uniform set of standards to be able to minimize conflicting state and local municipal regulations and standards on consumer products. So we recognize our abilities and where our shortcomings are, and we very much appreciate your efforts. I do support those that you mentioned and those of Chairman Kaye. He's exercised tremendous leadership in this area as a former football coach for those Sandia Matadors for 4 years and a member of the AFL Board of Directors. I appreciate the fact that the chairman has taken a real holistic view of this while he I think appropriately identifies that a product solution would be the best. It's a matter of culture and a cultural change, and that goes down to coaching and education. So for those ways, I appreciate and support his leadership.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Robinson.
Thank you, Senator. We first discussed this before my Senate confirmation hearing, so I applaud your efforts along these lines. And I very much support the chairman in these efforts. Having represented a former offensive lineman at the University of Michigan football team many years ago, I am very, very aware of the injuries that we unreasonably inflict on our children as they're playing sports, and I very much support these efforts.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Moran. Really appreciate your courtesy.
Thank you, Senator Udall.